Before we begin, I'd like to introduce your host for today's webinar. It's myself, Sammy Gerges. I'm the head of APAC, and I'm coming to you live from the Gold Coast. Also joining me from New South Wales, I've got Ashley.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
And Ashley will be giving us an exciting demo later on in the webinar. We'll start our agenda today with some company accomplishments that we've done, and we'll take a closer look into SuiteApps development of this year. Then we'll proceed with a demonstration from Ashley, and then finally we'll wrap up with a sneak preview of some of the features. So who's Fast Four? Guys, we started about 10 years ago. It is our 10-year anniversary back in 2012 in Europe. And we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary. And in the APAC region, we've actually been here since 2019, and we've got over 850 happy customers in over 40 countries. We kicked off last year with the formation of our US entity and continued our global expansion with the growth of our Czech office. And you can see some of the team members there as well. We've also expanded our APAC team here and have 3 new starters starting next month. And we're starting to trade with the Australian entity for next month as well. And our headcount is set to double over the next few months. One of the biggest and exciting successes last year was us going to Suite World. It was a really good, memorable event. And big thanks to the US team who joined over 2,000 face-to-face people that actually went to the actual event in Las Vegas. And we're looking to meet you guys there this year as well. So we were a gold sponsor, and we're very excited about that. Hot off the press, we have some exciting news. Fast Four has joined Zone & Co. The future is possible because we are better together. We were born from the same DNA, and with this merger, we'll work as one unit and now have over 200 employees worldwide. We'll shortly be offering zone billing here in the APAC region and have become the #1 NetSuite accelerator with a development team of over 20 NetSuite geniuses that will develop more Suite apps that will help you work smarter and not harder in NetSuite. Now let's take a deeper look into the Suite apps stats for the past year. For Scan and Capture, which is our native purchase-to-pay automation solution, we now have over 500 customers in 25 countries, and we've had 6 major functionality releases in 2021 alone. For the bank reconciliation Suite app that allows you to reconcile bank and payment service provider accounts in a quick and easy way, we have over 700 customers in 40 countries and have seen 5 major bank releases this year. We also have a credit card import Suite app, and this reduces manual entry and eradicates errors by automating the creation and reconciliation of credit card statements within NetSuite. To complement our bank reconciliation Suite app, we also have a handy SFTP connector. Now that allows you to automatically pull statements into NetSuite for faster processing. All of our Suite apps are native, so they're built on the NetSuite platform, which means there's no integrations and you don't have to leave your NetSuite screen to access the great features. We're expecting to see a fuller roadmap than ever before, and we'll be sharing with you a sneak peek at the end of today's session, so please stay tuned. Taking a closer look into the timeline of all our major functionality releases, on the top row, you'll find all of our bank reconciliation releases, and in the bottom, you'll find the Scan and Capture releases. The first half of the year was quite a notable period. The 3-way matching was probably the biggest feature release, where our customers are now able to process incoming bills to match with existing purchase orders within NetSuite. You might have also noticed while using the Scan and Capture solution that you're able to transfer data from the PDF to the transaction with just a click of a button. That's the clickable PDF functionality. We have completed several webinars on these releases as well. These can be found on our website. In addition, you're able to find more details of each of these new enhancements in our knowledge base. And on the bottom of the same page, you can also find our full release notes. So let's look at the functions that we released in the second half of this year that Ashley will be showing you shortly. Transaction line defaulting allows our customers to auto-select an account on the line level based on descriptions on the PDF. Soon after, we released the dynamic subsidiary selection, also known as single email plugin policy, which enabled our customers to automatically identify the appropriate subsidiary from the bill information. For those customers that have multiple subs set up in NetSuite, you no longer need an email plugin set up for each subsidiary. Now, for those of you that are using our bank reconciliation suite app to reconcile payments from their payment service providers, those PSPs, we added additional support for reconciling customer refund transactions as well. Then in our latest release, we introduced the point and click auto learning functionality, where we can now start mapping information on the invoice, enabling users to teach the system to remember fields on a PDF for future invoices. Ashley will demonstrate this shortly. And in our next bank rec release, a solution that a lot of our customers would be interested in, we are going to introduce support for intercompany journals. So now the moment that everyone's been waiting for, the product demonstration. So handing over to Ashley. Thanks, Ash.
Thanks, Sammy. All right, so I guess the best thing to do is for me to share my NetSuite screen and we'll get straight into it. So I will share my screen with you. So first off, I thought we would start with scan and capture and the dynamic subsidiary selection. So as mentioned in our previous versions, we had a one-to-one relationship with an email plugin and a subsidiary. What dynamic is going to allow you to do is have a single email plugin, and based on the information scan and capture extracts from the incoming transactions, it will be able to assign the correct subsidiary. So first off will be to check my scan and capture setup for this configuration. So first off, I'm going to go setup, scan and capture setup, and scan and capture setup. I'm going to go into my configuration. And down here under OCR in email plugin, I've got scan and capture single email plugin. So that's step one. Step two will be to make sure the plugin is enabled as well. So for that, we're going to go to customization, plugins, manage plugins. This is giving me a listing of my email plugins I have within my NetSuite file. And I can clearly see here, I have it ticked for my single email plugin. So now when I'm in my home screen and I'm navigating to my incoming section, when I go in under the subsidiary, I can tell or see where it has been assigned. If a direct match cannot be confirmed, a yellow line transaction will appear, just letting you know some user interaction will be required. While we're on scan and capture, we'll also go through our auto learning feature. So auto learning is designed to help capture more data from your header level details of your vendor bills or credits. It's enabled by default on all accounts, and it's as simple as a point and click feature. So I've got a vendor bill open here. Now this is essentially a very nice enhancement of our clickable PDF that was released in Q1 last year. So now the enhancement of clickable PDF is allowing the system to auto learn and memorize where you have mapped certain information. So we'll go to my memo field over here, and I'm going to want to bring across my quote number. So I'm going to select the area I'd like to copy across, and that has now been populated. It doesn't just work with text fields. This feature also works with drop downs. So if I navigate to my salesperson drop down here and highlight this, I can then come across to my name over here. Sorry guys, when it actually, there we go. Oh, very sorry. Now that's been populated across, and once I've saved this transaction, it will look for a name that's referenced there, such as myself, or if Sammy had been the one who's ordered these products, then it's going to pre-populate him from the drop-down field. I do have an example of this already working in the system. I've got an invoice that I've processed after I have saved these rules. So I can open that transaction up. So I'll open up another invoice or a later invoice for this supplier. And as we can see, without me having to click these fields and save the information, the system has already done this for me. While we're on this vendor record, this is also going to be a really good example of our transaction line defaulting. So this is where you can create rules around how you would like lines to be posted, and the system will automatically code these for you. The defaulting logic behind this is based on the line description of the incoming transaction that isn't related to a purchase order. So our OCR's done a really good job, and it's brought through all of my line level here, which matches my invoice. It's all being coded to the default account that's set up on the vendor record, but I don't want all of these lines to be posted to that default account. So this is where our line defaulting comes in handy. So first off, I'm going to select the text I would like to set this rule up with. So I'm going to code shipping to a different account as it doesn't relate to stationery and office supplies. So first I'm going to highlight my text. I'm then going to come across to scan and capture auto matching rules column. And I'm going to select new. This is going to bring a pop-up of a blank rule. I'm going to assign it a name. I can tell it what types of records I would like it to apply to. So bills or bill credits, or select both. Next is how to find this criteria for a match. So I could ask it to equals to, contains, starts with, or ends with. For the best possible match for this one, I'm going to go with contains. I'm going to paste my text of shipping. Now it's already selected the vendor for this to apply to, as I've created it from this vendor's pop-up. I could select this button and have it apply to all vendors. And then the same goes with subsidiary. I can select single sub or have it apply to all. Next is going to be defining the GL account I'd like this to post to. So I'm having this go to my freight expense account. I can also set department, location, and class. And we can pick up additional fields and segments as well. So now I'll hit save on this rule. As we can see, this has now been coded to my freight expense account. And after I've hit save on this transaction, any future transactions that are going to be coming through scan and capture, this rule is ready to be applied. I'll also show you, where these rules are set up, so both, or saved, for both the auto learning feature and for the transaction line defaulting. So auto learning is saved on the vendor record. So I'll open up my vendors file. I'll go to the Scan and Capture tab, and under Trained Field Mapping, this is then giving me a listing of the fields that I have mapped for the auto learning. For transaction line defaulting, just to give a nice listing of that, I can go Setup, Scan and Capture Setup, and Transaction Line Default. This is giving me a listing of all of the rules that I currently have set up. This is where I can edit them, make them inactive. And here we've got the shipping rule that I just created off our invoice. So that's it for Scan and Capture. We'll now move on to our bank reconciliation. And I'm going to demonstrate the advanced intercompany journal posting feature. So this will allow you to easily allocate funds to GL accounts across subsidiaries. You can also post to AP and AR across subsidiaries, and then allocate those payments to either vendor bills or to customer invoices. So the first step is going to be to enable this functionality on BankRec. So we're going to navigate to Setup, Bank Reconciliation Setup, and Account Configurations. Going to select my bank account. Now here under Processing Preferences, I have it ticked to enable intercompany journal postings. So that's step one. The next step will be having an intercompany clearing account configuration set up. I'll also show you how that looks. So for that, we'll go Setup, BankRec, and Intercompany Clearing Account. I already have these set up, but I will hit Edit on one of them just so we can have a much better view. So this is where I'm selecting the rules. So I'm selecting my From subsidiary, so my APAC Australia sub. The subsidiary I want to be posting through to. I'm also defining the GL account that I want this balancing to happen through. So you can define the account that you want these intercompany postings to be posting through in the bank reconciliation. So now I've got it all set up and ready to go. I'll actually demonstrate this for you. So we're going to go Bank Reconciliation and Import Statement. I'll select my bank account, my bank statement, okay, so I do just have two transactions on this statement. The first one I'm going to be posting through to a single subsidiary entry. So for this one, first I'm going to define the account I would like this transaction to flow through to. So I want this posting to management fees. Next will be the subsidiary I want this to flow through to. I'm going to select my ANZ sub. This has now been flagged as yes for reconciliation. Line number 2, I'm going to be splitting this and posting this across to 2 subsidiaries. So to do that, I'm going to scroll across to my alternate match type column. And I'm going to select multi-line journal. I'm just going to do a nice 50-50 split on this. So 30,000, and I'm going to post this to my marketing expense account. And I'm going to have this posting to my Western Australian sub. The remaining 30, I'm going to post to my software subscriptions. And I want this posting to my ANZ sub. So now all I need to do is hit save. That's going to get to work posting these advanced intercompany journals, and we'll open them up and have a look at them as well. So we'll open up our first one and our second. So as we can see here, I've got the entry in my bank account. I've got it flowing through to my management fees in my other subsidiary. I've then got the balancing transactions here. So flowing through my predefined intercompany clearing account and across the subsidiaries. The next transaction will be very much the same, except it's a little longer. So we've got the amount coming out of my bank account. I've got it going to my pre or defined GL accounts in my other subs. And I've then got my balancing transactions here for my intercompany accounts. So that pretty much concludes my demonstration in NetSuite. So to our existing customers who joined, I hope you've learned something new. And to our potential customers that we've piqued your interest in our solution. And I'll hand it back over to Semi, who's going to go through some of our upcoming releases.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Ashley. That was a great demo. Now, this concludes our 2021 releases, but we are excited to show you what's coming up next. And I'm eager to share some of the major upcoming releases for the first half of this year. We'll introduce new tailored support offerings. So we currently have our standard support offering that comes with our activation, and we have our premium support that is more of a hands-on support. But now you'll be able to opt for a customized support offering that will be tailored to fit your organization's needs and wants. We're also working on some enhancements to the processing queue. Now, this is really exciting. Until now, we've always utilized standard NetSuite safe search functionality, but there are some limitations with that, and we would like to expand on the capabilities. So we're building our own layout for that screen, and we'd like to share shortly with you a sneak peek on how that would look like. It's got a sleeker and more dynamic look, and the users can navigate in a smoother way. And also each user can now have their own view that can be customized with a simple drag and drop functionality. Next is one of our major releases, one that was in really high demand. We are planning to release an additional Suite app, the Fast Four Approval app. This can enable our customers to configure any approval rules for all transaction types in a very dynamic way. I'll also show you how this will look like shortly. A little later in the year, we'll also introduce the pre-scanning station. The pre-scanning station means that the customer will have complete control over what will be processed from the PDFs coming into the scan and capture dashboard before those documents are processed by the OCR, the optical character recognition. This will address some of the frequently asked questions, such as splitting PDFs into individual transactions, selecting which pages should be marked as an attachment rather than having OCR scanning on each page. And yes, those massive utility bills can now be cut down to only scan the first 3 to 5 pages if need be. Now let's look at our new scan and capture processing interface. This is super exciting. This now has a fresh look and feel, as you can see. The view can be customized per user and allows you to search on any values, and it has a simple drag and drop field setup functionality. This also includes our advanced filter selection so you can view your data in a more relevant way. I would also like to show you our new approval suite app. You can create your own approval workflow in a very user-friendly dashboard, and this can be set up in various ways, such as approval by class, department, location, as well as custom segmentation and values. And as you can see there, it looks really nice and sleek, just like our new scan and capture interface. So guys, please keep an eye out to see when all this will be available on the release notes, and make sure to follow us on LinkedIn to be the first to know. We have also created some exciting new tips and tricks videos. These can be viewed on our website or YouTube channel. One of our new videos includes some great information on what type of implementation you may need for your organization. So guys, we'd like to just open the floor up now to any questions, and just type them straight into the question box there if you have any, and we'll answer them. So yes, we are going to send the recording after this. Thanks, Mark. All right, guys. Now, guys, that wraps up our Fast Four's greatest hits of 2021. Today's session was recorded, and we'll be forwarding it to all the attendees today. And also for those of you who couldn't attend, you'll also get the link. And if you've got any questions or concerns, please feel free to email us at suiteapps@fast4.com, ashley@fast4.com, or sammy@fast4.com. And once again, thank you all very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you all, and we'll speak to you guys soon. Have a great evening. Thank you.